I've got a 3.5-year-old daughter, and for the first few years of our lives, we lived across the street from an Ecuadorian family that had 4 young boys, and those kids loved playing soccer. So every time my daughter looked across the way, she would see them lighting up and beaming. And so she learned very early that there's a lot of love and joy and laughter that's associated with kicking around a small circular object. And while all this was happening at home, on the other side of town at her daycare, they just conducted a class vote to elect Gabby the hamster as their school mascot and class pet for the upcoming year. While I'm sure many of you are well aware of the advancements in cellular phone technology, you may not be aware of all of the advancements in terms of pet integration in classrooms. It's pretty amazing. They have this small clear ball about this big that the hamster goes into, gets to run around, the hamster's safe, the kids are safe. It's a wonderful scenario. And so my daughter goes, I drop her off, and she sees him running around for the first time, and she just starts beaming. She's like, oh, Daddy, there's a hamster, and he's in the ball. Can I go say hello to Gabby? Yeah, absolutely. Oh, she gets excited. Her smile starts beaming, her arms open wide, her little legs get to chugging, and she goes to say hi to Gabby by kicking him. She just kicks Gabby across the floor, and he starts bouncing, and now the teachers are like, whoa, and the kids are like, whoa, and my daughter's standing there like, I don't understand. There's a lot of love and joy and laughter that comes with kicking around a small spherical object. Like, as the adult in that scenario, what do you do? I don't know if you've ever been to a pediatrician's office. If you have, you know there's a pamphlet for everything. If your child is choking, please help them. If your child is lonely, please help them. There's no pamphlet for that time your daughter punched the beloved class mascot across the room. So what do? You laugh. Because what else can you do? Or at least that's what I do in scenarios where the stress of the situation becomes so overwhelming. And I do. I laugh a lot. And not just because it feels great, but because it's also scientifically proven to lower stress levels. In an article published by Psychology Today, Chris Berline explains how the easiest way to reduce stress is by reducing cortisol levels. Cortisol being the predominant stress-causing hormone in the human body, and the easiest way to lower cortisol levels is by laughing. And so I do. I'm always looking for the bright side in every situation. It's something that I learned early, and I learned often, because one of the great things about stress is that it doesn't have any age limits. I grew up as a very overweight child, and while most kids were worrying about just keeping the number 2 pencils sharp, or which action hero or Disney princess was going to dominate their Trapper Keeper, I was trying to not get stuck going in and out of that one-piece desk. You know, the one-piece desk, the one-size-fits-all, that makes you wonder who named it one-size-fits-all, if they actually know what those words mean in sequential. One size does not fit all, you guys. And so as time went on, I got larger and larger. I started making fun of myself just to feel like I could fit in, because that's what society teaches you. You're chubby, you have one role, you're the class clown. And the reality is that I'm not the only one who struggles with being overweight or who has struggled with obesity. Current Center for Disease Control statistics state that 65% of all Americans are overweight. Furthermore, 34.9% of all adults are obese. I mean, think about that. 2 out of every 3 of us are overweight. 1 out of every 3 of us are obese, which is like the honor roll of overweightedness. But these aren't just statistics. These are real people. These are our mothers and our fathers, our sons and our daughters, our brothers and our sisters. This is our reality now, and this is our present. So what do we do? What can we possibly do to clear away the clutter that is pop culture weight loss and actually start making an impact now? It starts by asking better questions. It starts by asking, why are we even overweight to begin with? It starts by understanding that if you are struggling with being overweight is not the first thing that you need to address. There's something going on underneath the surface. For some of us, it's time management. We don't know how to budget time, and so we don't. There's no margin left for exercise, and so we just say we don't have time. And for a lot of us, it's education. We don't know the difference between a good calorie or a bad calorie, or even a portion, so we just assume, this is what showed up, I guess I'll eat this. And for a lot of us, there's a scale that seems so overwhelming because somewhere along the way, we've come to believe that that number means so much more than just a gravitational quantification of science. It's gravity. That's all it is. And I struggled with all of it. Even more, I was an emotional eater. I would always eat my feelings. If I was excited, hey, let's celebrate. If I was sad, I guess we need to celebrate. I would always eat my feelings. And so on top of this, I had so many things going on underneath the surface with my struggles, and my parents knew this, which is why even at my absolute largest, when I was getting kicked out of an amusement park for being too fat to ride, surgery was never an option. My parents were very against me having surgery. As they would put it, you know, Jeremy, it's not a lack of surgery in your life that's keeping you overweight. So even if you had it, how long is it going to take for you just to push that stomach out? And then you're back where you're at, worse off than when you started. No, if you're ever going to get this under control, you need to get to the root of the problem. And they were right. I knew deep down inside that I needed an education. And at the time, I felt, what better way to get an education than to join a gym? Problem with that is, I had never been to a gym before. I had no idea what I was doing, and I remember it so clearly because it was just so awkward. I walk in, and all of a sudden, people start looking at me, and it's like, why are you looking at me? You guys look great. You guys should go home. But it's getting me all sweaty, and like, that was my first workout, because I was getting all sweaty. I'm like, oh, this is awkward, but hey, I'm breaking a sweat. Awesome. Is there any exercises that I can do? No, those guys are grunting. They look like they're in pain. I'm not wearing a bathing suit. Man, and they're still looking at, why are you guys still looking at me? Fine, all right, I just got so overwhelmed by the scenario that I decided it was time to leave. And I'm walking out, and I'm just about to exit, but then, over yonder, something catches my attention. It's a room full of televisions. It was kind of like a sports bar, but rather than having amazing food, they had treadmills. But that got me thinking, I'd been walking for umpteen years at this point. I'm pretty good at walking. And I don't know how you guys roll, but there's always 20 minutes in my day for Fresh Prince or a Family Matters rerun. So I was thinking, all right, you know what? No. 20 minutes, let's make a good decision today. So I jump on my noble steed of fitness, and I start punching in my weight. And it becomes like a little chubby auctioneer. It's like 155, 60, 165, 70, 175, 80. And then I get to 300, and it beeps. Beep. Nice and daintily. I'm like, wait a minute. There's still a lot more of me. What do you mean, beep? Beep, 300. I'm like, whoa. And so I just ham-fisted at this point. I'm like, no. And it's like, I'm like, what do you mean? So ERR. So either this treadmill is now spitting country grammar at me, or I have now been told that I am too fat to be fat. And already overwhelmed by the scenario, I just lose it. I'm like, you know what? You are the most prejudicial treadmill I have ever met. You probably one of those cute little girls in their booty shorts who don't even sweat, they just glisten somehow. Well, you know what? No. You're getting a big, fat, sweaty, hairy dude, and I am making a scene. Fine, 300, we're doing this. 5 minutes goes by, and I'm angry. And then 10 minutes goes by, and I'm still angry. If there's a little thought bubble above my head, if that was real, it would have like anger emoticons and fire and all those undignified words that you can't say from a TED or TEDx stage. And then I get to 12 minutes, and they're getting hot in here. And then I get to 15 minutes, and you never really realize how out of shape you are until something else dictates how hard you have to work. And then I get to 20 and it beeps. Beep. Oh, for all the good reasons. I am done like a fine Christmas ham. Woo! And you guys are still looking at me. Why do you keep looking? Oh. And see, all this time while I was just trying not to die, I had not looked at the mirror at all, so I didn't realize what was going on. So apparently what happened was all of the overhead baggage that was stored safely for transit had created a lot of motion, and what was once a sleeveless t-shirt now moved, and it made an eye, which meant that the most of me was now exposed for the world to see. So there's side boob, front boob, it's just raining man chest. It's a ridiculous sight to see, and I just face palm, because I don't know what else to do. And it all just comes back to me in waves, all the times I had been made fun of, growing up, singled out, being made target, just the escape, every single joke came back. But this time I was finally making a good decision and I was still being made fun of? No, not today. It ends today because it can. I will not be made fun of by people who are unqualified to speak their version of truth into my life. So I readjust the overhead baggage that had shifted during transit. Yeah, I'll always be dignified. I do that throat clearing thing that your mom or grandma used to do when it was time to say Thanksgiving prayer, where it's like, you're like, man, Mom, you gotta get that checked out. And once I had everyone's attention who already wasn't gawking, I let them know. Hey, first showing, that's for free. Next show, that's gonna cost you. And I felt something that I had never felt before by saying that. I felt in control. I felt dignity in my scenario. I felt empowered. But why? What made this time different? I'd been making fun of myself for years. What changed? What had changed was all those times prior in making fun of myself, I was using humor as a shield. I would get to the punch before they would. So their words, their thought processes, their everything never really resonated. But the collateral of that was the truth wasn't getting through either. Because if we're being fully honest, while they may have not chose the most nicest way to remind me of my affliction, they weren't entirely wrong either. I was overweight. I was fat. Just wasn't ready to deal with it until then. Because that was the first time I used humor as a way of acceptance rather than avoidance. And I finally felt the esteem of knowing I made the best decision that I could for me in that moment. And that meant so much more than the unqualified opinions of others. And that got me thinking, wow, if laughter and humor can do that, what else can it do in a weight loss journey? And a study conducted right here in Nashville gave me even more reason to smile. A Vanderbilt University study conducted by Dr. Maciej Bukowski concluded that laughing, like laughter, like ha ha ha, raises energy expenditures as well as heart rates by up to 20%. Further concluding that 10 to 15 minutes of sustained laughter burns up to 40 calories. Quantified through a year, that's 4 pounds. Think about that. Science is proving you can literally laugh your pants off. That's a game changer. Yeah, science, yeah. Game has been changed. All that being said, I can only speak for myself. But results also don't lie. Over the course of my journey, I've lost over 200 pounds. And more importantly, I've kept it off for the past 12 years. Yeah. Thank you. And as that number continues to grow, so too does the number of success stories of people who have adapted my theories and my processes to their weight loss journey. It's something that I've always wanted to do. And so when we started the Nashville Wellness Academy, we started with one thing in mind. We want to change the way the world looks at weight loss, and we are doing it one success story at a time. And we all follow just one simple rule. In the process, we always take our journey seriously. But during that journey, we never take ourselves too seriously. And those who are willing to adapt those philosophies are the ones who have the chance to have the last laugh in their fight against obesity. Thank you.